Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be going over Odell Beckham Jr.'s performance against the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. We're going to be diving into his game and showing what he brought to the Rams offense in a film breakdown of last night's game. Before we get started though, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. That would really help my channel grow. I'd really appreciate that. With that said, let's dive right into the video and I hope you enjoy. So before we dive right into the film session of OBJ's debut, I just want to talk about his stats. Let me just pull up his stats right here. I believe he had 2 catches for 18 yards on 3 targets, so not a big game for him. And there were a few things at play there. Number one, he just wasn't a big part of the offense because he didn't really know the offense, right? He's only been there for a few days. He's only been to a few practices. He's not really comfortable in the offense yet. So he wasn't out there for large parts of that second half when the Rams were trying to get back into that game and trying to move the ball downfield. OBJ wasn't on the field simply because he didn't really know the offense. So that'll come with more time, and we'll see him get more targets and more reps in practice, and we'll see him become more comfortable in the offense, and we'll see him out there when it matters in the next few weeks. But, for his debut, it was really more of a first half outing for him. Didn't really play that much in the second half. Sean McVay kept him on the sideline. Once again, not an injury concern, just rather he wasn't, he didn't know the offense well enough to really help and contribute out there for that Rams offense. And of course, the Rams offense had problems all night. Van Jefferson was dropping balls. Tyler Higbee was dropping balls. Cooper Kupp dropped an important third down catch. Still had a big game, but dropped a big catch. But for OBJ, it wasn't a massive game just because, he wasn't quite familiar with that offense yet. Now, though, let's dive into the film session and really determine what he was able to bring to that Rams offense nonetheless, because he still brought a little bit. So let's dive into that, and let's really break down what we should expect from him in the next few weeks. So this is the first of 3 plays I'm going to show you guys tonight. Basically, right here, it's going to be OBJ one-on-one on the outside, lined up with the corner, basically man coverage. And this is one thing that I think Odell Beckham does really well. This is something he's going to bring to this Rams offense. He's a really, really good route runner, really underrated route runner because he's super athletic, and he's really good at utilizing his hips and his angles to create space for himself. So right here, you're going to just see him. It's going to pretty much be a curl route. So as the ball gets snapped here, you see his burst off the line of scrimmage. He's able to get around his defender, really push his defender backwards, and then come back to the football. And you're going to see that here, right? Pushing his defender, making his defender think that it's a go route. Stafford's anticipating the start. Look, he's looking over here the entire time. He knows where he's going with the football. Really trust OBJ here. And you see how OBJ simply just moves that leg back, turns those hips back, and attacks this football. And look, this is perfect from OBJ, and this just showcases just how convincing of a route runner he is. He's completely turned back to get this football, and the corner's back is facing the football. The corner is completely the wrong direction. He's completely in the wrong spot. And OBJ's created all the space for himself just by utilizing his route running abilities and creating space for himself. Look how much space and look how much separation he has at the point of catch. He's got like 2.5 yards of separation and catch. At the catch point, is able to just get out of bounds, not even take a hit. Coming back to the football, just a really good job here, attacking the football, creating space for himself, using his route running, and picking up 5 or 6 yards to open up the game. Big play here by OBJ. It's not massive, but these are momentum plays, and these are something where Stafford can really rely on his receiver like that. So that also shows that OBJ and Stafford are on the same wavelength, which wasn't always true in this game, especially with Stafford and a lot of his receivers. But this is a good drive starter, and I'm sure Sean McVay wanted to get OBJ the ball quickly to start his first game. So overall, nice play here by OBJ, utilizing his legs and utilizing his hips, especially to create separation, and his route running skills, and really showcasing what he can do for the Rams via his route running abilities. And here, this is not actually OBJ making a catch, but he actually makes a really big play here, and because you can also use him as a decoy. OBJ is a guy that's going to need to be covered. He's explosive in open space, he can make dynamic plays, and he can make big catches. And right here, they're going to line him up in the backfield, actually. So you're going to see OBJ right over here, and this is what I love about Sean McVay. He's not scared to line up his guys and line up his personnel in a variety of different positions. Right here, though, it's going to be pretty simple. He's going to have OBJ run basically a screen sort of pass, and you're going to just see what this does for the defense. So defensively, this defense right now is in zone coverage. This guy's dropping back, and these 2 guys are going to be in this area of the field with the linebackers across the board as he drops back too. So what that means is as OBJ comes over here, this corner is going to come down to try and cover him, right? To just cover that space because he's anticipating that throw to Matthew Stafford. What I love from this is Matthew Stafford is looking to OBJ. He's like, I'm going to pass to OBJ. he's not going to pass to OBJ. He doesn't want to pass to OBJ. But rather, what that does is that brings this defender down, creating all the space in behind, which you're going to see Cooper Kupp run into. So, as Matthew Stafford really holds that, right, he holds that for a few seconds, these two defenders have come down, which creates all the space. And plus, this is a really good play design by Sean McVay. He's got this receiver here going on a go route, which clears all the space. So by basically Stafford just holding that throw to OBJ, that OBJ is basically being used as a decoy to move these two defenders down and really allow for that space to open up for then Stafford to throw into to find Kupp and then pick up big yardage, really, really big yardage, and pick up the first down. So this is just OBJ being utilized as a decoy because he's a big-time player. He's a guy who can make big plays, especially in open space. So really utilizing him in different situations, lining up in different spots, and just using him as a toy. He's never expecting the ball. He knows the ball isn't coming to him, but rather it's opening up the defense, moving these guys down, creating that space for Cooper Kupp to run in behind, and then Stafford throwing over the top of those two defenders to pick up the first down. And this was probably Stafford's best throw of the night. So overall, really good play design by Sean McVay, just showcasing the ways that OBJ can be used, not just as a pass catcher, but also as a guy who can get other guys open, utilizing himself as a decoy. And this is a little bit more of what I mean by OBJ and Matthew Stafford being on the same wavelength. Here you're going to see him lined up one-on-one on the outside to the top of your screen. And more or less, this is just going to be a deep 14 or 15 yard curl route or more or less an out route. It's more of a curl route to the outside. And what OBJ does really well here is, one, create space for himself using his route running, and two, he's able to secure the football and really have good control of his body. That's something I've always talked about with OBJ. He always has really good control of his body, and we know that with his one-hand catches and stuff like that. But overall, he's excellent when it comes to the ball in the air. So here, this is nothing more than creating space for himself here. Quick off the line of scrimmage. The cornerback is giving him a little bit of space to work with, but more or less, OBJ is pushing that cornerback and he's creating space for himself. And when Stafford throws the ball, perfect ball, not only to the outside, but more importantly, it allows for OBJ to have come back and see just how much separation he has. He's got 3 or 4 yards here of separation. Really, he doesn't even have to worry about the corner. But at the end of the day, what I love about OBJ here is he comes back to the football and secures the football, make sure he gets 2 hands on the football, uses his back to really just ward off the ball from any potential defender or any hit that could be coming in. Once again, he can't really see where this defender is. He doesn't know how close he is. But he secures the football, makes sure he's got his back turned to secure the football, goes 2 feet in bounds, and rolls over to pick up the first down to move the chains and try and get the Rams in some momentum. But this is just him and Stafford on the same page. Once again, another ball to the outside, another ball that really showcases OBJ's ability to open up space and get space for himself utilizing his route running to pick up a first down. So this is a nice throw and a nice catch from OBJ here to move the chains. And I think that's something that we're going to see a lot of from him. So obviously, OBJ didn't play a ton of minutes against that San Francisco 49ers team. He wasn't familiar with the offense enough, but as that comes through practice, I think he's going to be much more familiar and he's going to get more playing time. In a way, he's going to try and replace Robert Woods as much as possible. He's not Robert Woods. He's a different player, much more of a vertical threat and much more of a guy who can use his speed to open up plays. But similarly to Robert Woods, both are really excellent route runners. Both can be put in a variety of different positions and line up in different areas. And their route running is what sets them apart. I'd say OBJ's ability to control his body is a little bit better and his speed is a little bit better. And you got to remember, OBJ is not the player that he used to be. He's nowhere near what he used to be with the Giants, but he's still a very good receiver and he's still a capable receiver. He's not Robert Woods either, and it's going to be hard to replace Robert Woods, especially after losing him to an ACL injury. But I think OBJ is up to the challenge. And on the small things I saw from him tonight, other than, a kind of a miscommunication with him and Stafford at one point that ended up leading to an interception that first half, I thought OBJ, when he got targeted, he did what he needed to do. He was open. He used his route running effectively. He looked like he was in good communication with Matthew Stafford, and as he becomes more comfortable with the playbook, I think he'll have a lot more success. He's nowhere near what Cooper Kupp is doing, and Cooper Kupp is having a fantastic season. But at the end of the day, the Rams need a big play guy who can get over the top of the defense, utilize his speed, utilize his route running, and be a nice complement to Cooper Kupp. And that's what OBJ is going to bring. He's not going to bring you 7, 8, 9 catches a game for 90 yards and a touchdown each week. But what he will give you is he'll give you 4 or 5 catches each week, 60 yards maybe a touchdown here or there, but a nice second option and a nice complement to Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is going to be getting those targets. Cooper Kupp is going to be moving the chains for this Rams team because he's such a different receiver. He's a slot guy. He's a guy that can play outside, but a guy that focuses on that short, intermediate passing game and really builds up from there. But OBJ, if you can use him as a decoy, which we saw Sean McVay utilize him, use him over the top a little bit, but more importantly, use his route running and use his ability ability to use his speed to create a competitive advantage. I think that's really going to help that Sean McVay offense and really push that Rams offense forward. The Rams the past 2 weeks have looked really lackluster, and I think if OBJ gets more comfortable in this offense, this Rams offense could get to new heights and really be efficient and dominant in that NFC West. So it's going to be really important for the Rams to really get OBJ involved. When involved, he's a really potent player. When sidelined, it's really tough for any team to get going because he's such an influential player. And not only, with the ball in his hands, but he opens up things for his teammates. And as I showed you on that play where Cooper Kupp had that big catch, simply OBJ being an option and being a guy to throw to really pushed the defense to cover him and created the space for his teammates. So he can do a variety of things. I think he's a big addition for this Rams team. Obviously, tough first game, but as he becomes more comfortable with his playbook, I think that I think the Rams will have found a really solid wide receiver 2 option behind Cooper Kupp to really complement that offense. So I like the pickup. Obviously, tough game, but as he becomes more confident, I think that more confident and comfortable in this offense, I think that he's going to be pretty productive.
And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, see ya.